Welcome back to the Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast. And in case you're just joining us, you're listening to the Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast with Emmy, Hikins, and Trevor.
Leather-clad rock and rollers, and he was a very smart business Jewish man whose family ran a shop in the same street in Liverpool as the Cavern Club where the Beatles played. Anyway, long story short, strange, uncanny sort of coincidental circumstances. For example, a guy went into his shop because he sold records amongst many other things in his shop. Right. And somebody asked for a song record by this group called the Beatles, which he'd never heard of. Anyway, he went, found them in the cabin, and that became almost a catalyst for the explosion that was the Beatles. Right. And the coincidence, you could say, the chap going into his shop and asking for a record that they'd actually made in Germany, didn't have a record contract. So that's an interesting part of the story, but that's something two people can create something great together. It can be a catalyst for some great movement or whatever. And very often people say, I've said, isn't it strange that happened in my life? Because if we hadn't done that, or if someone hadn't done that, it would never have been. Right down to when people do meet in a sort of a coincidental way and go on to have a family and, so on, things like that. So great things can happen. Or invisible string, the theory can also simply mean two people destined to meet at some point in their lives to mutually support, or one's going to be there for the other, or so on. So it's not just a romantic thing, but it also was popularized, the theory, by Taylor Swift in 2020. Yeah. You didn't know I was a Swiftie, did you, cuz? But she made this song very much about this. Excuse me. And in the song, she sort of explained how certain things she'd done coincidentally to her then partner. I don't know whether he still is her partner, but brought them together in a kind of massive coincidences. And that song really explained that to a T, this theory, as did another song. I was thinking about this, George Michael. You probably know his song Different Corner. And in that song, he sings about if he turned a different corner, he and his partner, the person he was talking about, would never have met. So Different Corner is a very good version of that song. So anyway, where did invisible string, that theory, come from? It was originally rooted in an old Eastern mythology, Chinese really, going back hundreds, possibly thousands of years, something called the red thread theory. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
The red thread? Red thread, it's quite hard to say, the red thread theory. Well, that suggests that at birth, people are connected by this invisible red cord. And over generations, because it goes back a long, long way, this, originally the male, if it was a male and a female, for example, or two males or two females, but the males had this red cord invisibly tied around their ankles. A woman would have it around a finger. But over time, from what I can read on this, it's come out now that they're both connected. Two people are connected by their little fingers, their little pinky fingers, by this red cord, this red thread of fate. And that says similar things. I suppose that's where the invisible string theory got it from. It says that people will be brought together. Nothing will stop it. It's totally outside their control, because that's the universe. And we could, for the word the universe, some would say God, some would say providence, whatever. But for the sake of argument, we'll say the universe will bring people together because they are meant to do something great. They are meant to be following the same path together, perhaps as soulmates, perhaps in some other way, or even a family member who might need support, a distant family member. But on this basis, of course, age doesn't really come into it, because you could be, your example, a 90-year-old and a 16-year-old. Well, there may still be something, they're humans, there could still be something that they can benefit from each other. I mean, there's nothing to stop that. And when you think of it, this is all kind of very much involved in culture, in our human culture, because if you think of literature, the books that are talked about meetings, coincidental meetings, and love, people falling in love. It's in literature, it's in movies. We see films very much concerned and connected with that same concept of people meeting in unusual or unexpected circumstances, and the same in music. Most songs, you could argue, are relationship type songs. So this is embedded very much in our culture, this invisible string theory and red thread theory. And perhaps as a last word on that, it's also important to remember that we too could be at the end of someone else's, perhaps we're destined to be met by someone else who's looking for us but doesn't.
We're going to take a short break now. We're back shortly. You've been listening to the Alien Spaceship Talk Show with Trevor Gear and Emmy Hikins. The Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast is looking for sponsors. If you're a company out there looking to spread the word about the products and services you provide, please get in touch with Deepstuff Radio Podcast on info@deepstuffrecords.com, or to use the contact form on our website to contact us, please visit radio.deepstuffrecords.com. Also, if you're looking to get involved on the Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast, reach out via our Deepstuff Radio Facebook page. Thank you.